Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well. What a beautiful day so far. The day after yesterday's absolutely outstanding 4-3 win for Chelsea away at Tottenham, who are going to be the main focus of attention in this video. And from an unbiased perspective, look, if there's one thing that I can testify is that, look, I try to be as unbiased as I can, except for match reviews. Yeah, when the emotions are high, the adrenaline is high, and banter mode is on full 1000, right? It's got to be done. It's got to be done. But I want to dig into this further with Tottenham. And after what we saw yesterday and the ramifications of that loss, what does it mean? And what is going on at that football club? And what needs to happen? You know, I don't want to lecture and say, go and do this or go and do that. But I want to try and provide an unbiased perspective on the situation at Tottenham, why they are not where they want to be, and why that's been a common theme for a while. So we're going to get into that. But before we do not forget to catch my second video later on tonight. In a few hours, there'll be another video coming out where we go over Chelsea and we go over the latest and what's happened today in the news. And go and check out All You Can Eat Chelsea on Matisse's channel that we've done earlier on. I don't need to advertise this one. Just go and watch. You won't regret it. Because there was some wild things said on there, and if you've seen the clips already, you've seen the clips. I can't plug it any further than that. But you thought what Matisse done yesterday was wild. Well, we've had a follow-up moment on All You Can Eat Chelsea, so you can go and check it out. Anyway, let's get cracking. Tottenham Hotspur, who lost 4-3 yesterday, after being 2-0 up. Being 2-0 up after 15 minutes. Right? It was going so tremendously well for Tottenham. So much so, I was watching the game and going, I can't believe what I'm watching. We better not lose this game, right? And then when Sancho scored, you kind of sussed where it was heading. But up until that point, it was sunshine and rainbows for Tottenham. But it didn't end that way. And there's a common theme with Tottenham and the results that they normally get. We've seen it over the last few games this season where they play against the big teams, let's say the so-called big teams, not so-called, they are big teams. But, well, I say so-called because I'm about to reference Manchester United, who are even further down in the gutter. I might have to do a video on Man United. Actually, no, their situation is way too complicated. With the new ownership and everything that's going on, they're going through turbulence, right? Very heavy turbulence, but turbulence. With Tottenham, they went to Old Trafford, right? They won 3-0 in outstanding fashion. Yeah, we saw that under Ten Hag, United playing under Ten Hag, and Tottenham were just blitzed right through them. It was up until the point where they lost to Brighton. They lost to Brighton, then they beat West Ham at home, they won in the Europa League, and then it started to show a certain rhythm. They lost to Palace. But then they beat Manchester City and knocked them out the cup. Right? They beat Aston Villa, who were playing quite decent up until that point. Then they lost to Galatasaray. Then they lost to Ipswich. Then they beat Manchester City at the Etihad 4-0. Then they draw to Roma. Then they draw to Fulham, who went down to 10 men. Then they lose to Bournemouth. And then there's the perception, we beat the big teams, so Chelsea are coming to the lane. We're going to beat them. Nah. Didn't happen. In fact, they were 2-0 up and they lost 4-3. So this is a common theme now, where Tottenham fans have ingrained it into their heads, I feel, that they are only capable of playing against the big teams. And now yesterday, even though we're trying to go a bit under the radar here, we're trying to go as the smooth criminals, we're not in a title race. We're not in a title race. Like, people can say we're in a title. We're not in a title race, and you'll see, yeah? I don't expect us to keep this up completely, but I do think we'll get top 4. Now I do actually think we'll get top 4. I'm pretty confident, and we should be, to be honest. But Chelsea are still a big team, right? And Tottenham couldn't get the job done when they had it in their hands at one point. When you look at season after season after season, there's always a fumble. And this is what's become of Tottenham. The perception from the outside looking in is that Tottenham are the team that throw it away when it's in their hands. They throw it away. Bottler FC. Bottle jobs. These are the names that people call Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not just saying it for the bants. As I've said, I want to try and be as not just unbiased, but logical here. Rational. Tottenham, season after season after season, are not even the almost team. They're the team that you just know are going to throw it away. Even if they're in a good patch of form, it's going to end. And then it does. Why? Since Tottenham moved to that new stadium, so much so, because of the fumbling and because of what I'm referencing, so much so that the stadium's been called the toilet bowl. And because it actually does look like one. But you know, it wouldn't be if Tottenham were getting results, and they just don't. But they've tried every single thing under the sun in terms of managers, right? They had Pochettino, who was meant to be a longevity project type based manager. 5 years, right, at the helm. And Pochettino, for what it's worth, done well. I've got to say, after what we've seen from Tottenham, and after what we've seen with Pochettino at Chelsea most recently, him taking Tottenham to a Champions League final is actually pretty incredible. How that happened, I'm actually thinking I don't know. But that was the one and only highlight that Tottenham have seen when? Since 2008, when they won the Carabao Cup. It was the Carling Cup back then, because Chelsea had Avram Grant in the other dugout and we lost that final. But we've not seen Tottenham do anything other than that since. But they've gone through, and when you look at their managers after Pochettino was dismissed, Mourinho, winner. Santo, not so much of a winner. Then they go to Conte, winner. Then they get Stellini to take over after having got rid of Conte, who was the assistant to Conte. He was meant to be the one to take it to the end of the season. Then they sacked him and then appointed the assistant to the assistant. Ryan Mason walks back in again. And now they're with Ange Postecoglou. A bit of an experiment. It's just so all over the place. So much so they had Pochettino and something to work with, but they decided to make a change. They got Mourinho in, they sacked him before a cup final. So much so Ryan Mason basically walked into that final with no chance. Why? Did they get rid of Jose before a cup final? God knows. Then they get Santo in. How do you go from winner to Santo? That didn't even work. So they went back to a winner, Antonio Conte, to the point where he had so much aggro and he had enough to the point where he decided to come out publicly and fire basically gunshots at everyone at Tottenham. Daniel Levy mainly. And everything he said in that press conference, his final press conference, sticks true to this day. To this day. Then they bring in Ange Postecoglou. And he's facing the same issues here. So we have to ask ourselves, is it genuinely the manager that's the problem at Tottenham? I don't think it is. No. I don't think Ange stands a chance. I think if Ange were to get sacked, I called him Angie, bloody hell. Ange, if he were to get sacked, they'll get the next guy in, same problems. They'll get the next guy after that, same problems again. It's just not going to change. Why? Personally, I think Tottenham have a lack of ambition. Footballing ambition. Believe me, they have business ambition. They have the new stadium. They've got gigs happening there. They've got, what is it? Is there a race kart track like underneath or something? They've got NFL showing up there. They've got all sorts of entertainment. I mean, boxing's taken place there. I mean, they are raking it in, right? In terms of being in a situation to get enough prize money, just about. They finished 5th last season. The season before that was 8th, not good enough. But they're always in and around that margin of a Europa League spot. For Daniel Levy, it's probably enough. Whereas now they're sitting in a situation where they're 11th. 11th in the Premier League. After 15 games, 11th. So I go back to the point. I honestly believe the problem here is ambition, and it's ambition from Daniel Levy, from Enick, from the people upstairs. Tottenham can go one of two ways that I think will resolve the situation, right? If I'm trying to come up with a solution, this is what I think needs to happen. Tottenham fans, let me know down below. Because there is a mentality problem at this football club, and it's not going to change. Mourinho referenced it. Antonio Conte not just referenced it, he told the whole world straight up, right? That people here don't want to win. And that's honestly the feeling. Before I say what I'm about to say, let me divert to yesterday's game. This is honestly why, when we went 2-0 down, as soon as Sancho scored, I knew we're coming back. Normally that wouldn't be the case. I promise you. Normally that would not be the case. And I'm speaking honest here. Yeah? I'm not trying to just put my blue tinted glasses on and be, Chelsea. Put that to one side. When Sancho scored, I was watching the game and I'm going, we're going to come back. We're going to win this game. If we get the equaliser, it's done. That's what I was saying after Sancho scored. We got the equaliser. And what happened? It was done. Because it's Tottenham. I don't say that in an antagonising way. I'm saying it's because it's Tottenham. Because everyone knows and everyone can see that Tottenham, no matter when it is, how it is, Tottenham don't have the mental fortitude to dig deep. And the pressure is on and claw it out. It goes one way or another with Tottenham. It's either super plain sailing because the opposition have just not shown up, or they're switched off, or they're hungover, or they're still wasted. Or they got their own problems internally, or what's happening. Much like Man City now. We're seeing Man City now and they're fumbling. Now we can see why Tottenham destroyed them 4-0 on the day. It was plain sailing. But when the going gets tough and there's something to claw out and you got to dig deep, Tottenham haven't got it in them. And they haven't had it in years. And that's the issue. But why? Why is there no mental fortitude at that football club? I believe it comes from upstairs. So which is why I'm saying I believe for Tottenham to get better, it's got to go one of two ways. Either Daniel Levy and the people upstairs at the moment actually prioritise getting things up and running on a footballing sense, and they invest, throw the money where it needs to be thrown. You're not going to compete with teams that are throwing the money where it needs to be thrown, and they're doing it efficiently. So much to the point where I even thought my club was throwing money out of the window and going, what are we doing? This recruitment looks crazy. And only now it's actually starting to click and make sense. And I'm going, oh wow, you know what? No, maybe there is something to these lads. Maybe some of these players that I initially thought, what are we doing? No, I can see what he's doing now. With Tottenham, that's not the case. They're just not making the investments. They're trying to find the cheap fixes around the corner. See what you can... they're trying to duck and dive, wheel and deal, Del Boy settings. No, that's not how it... You're not going to win by doing that. Chelsea decided to spend 1.5 billion and have a complete squad overhaul. Like I said, to the point where it looked very experimental. But with the right pieces and someone like Enzo Maresca who's come in, boom, it's clicked. Now, some of you might say, well, okay, just change the manager then, it's going to be okay. No, but Tottenham don't have the resources in their squad. You tell me and you look at those players and you actually say that these are players that can go all the way and win a title. Or they can come back with silverware. They can actually do something. Is the quality there? Nah, it's not good enough. It's still a squad that might get top 4 and that's it. Might. So invest. Throw the money where it needs to be thrown and do it efficiently. Do it smartly with a strategy. Or option B, or option 2, Spurs needs a takeover. Now, that's not something that can be initiated by fans or by anyone, unless you want to try and protest. But even then, that's not going to change it, unless if Daniel Levy and the people upstairs actually go, okay, you know what, we got to sell. If not, nothing's changing. But for a while, it's looked like that club, Tottenham, needs a takeover. And a takeover by someone that has ambition to win. Up until that happens, it just doesn't look like it's going to change. And the words of Chiellini that has stood the test of time, like I said on my review yesterday, is going to stick, and it's going to continue to stick like ultra super glue. This is the history of the Tottenham. This is why Tottenham do not win. It's ingrained into the culture that we're not that team that's good enough. We're just the team that's a bit okay. And everyone at the club just looks like they're okay with it. And that's the root of the issue. So what are you going to do about it? It's up to those at Tottenham. But it's definitely not going to change anytime soon. And Ange is going to be the one that's going to pay the price eventually at the rate that this is going. And not to say he's blameless, but this is why I'm saying this is all coming from upstairs, because the players and the quality of players at the team speaks volumes. The manager and what he's doing speaks volumes. But ultimately, the decisions at the club that has been made since Pochettino, right? And even then, you just never looked at Tottenham as, yeah, they're going to go all the way. They just never did. And it's just not ingrained in the culture. It's just not there. There's got to be an ambition from somewhere. Is it going to come? I'll be honest, I don't think it will. And as long as money's being made, I think Tottenham are content. It's as simple as that. So, let me know your thoughts down below. What do Tottenham need to do to change and to actually start competing properly? Let me know. Because right now, being 11th in the league is absolute criminal. It's a crime. Luckily, Man United are 13th, so Tottenham are not taking all the banter points here. It's Man United that are taking the majority, but it's insane. So, let me know, people, what do you think down below? Much appreciated. Do not forget to be here for video number 2 later on tonight. There'll be a lot more of these videos where I'm talking about other teams and the situations at those clubs and how it's relating to the current season and what's going on. I'll make sure that this becomes a regular thing throughout the season, so make sure you guys are glued. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell on. Check out all the socials, link in the description. Much appreciated. I will see all of you later on for the second video of the day. I'll see you then. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.